Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Now as you can probably tell, this one's going to be quite different. So I'm at a rest area in the truck parking, and today we're going to be doing a quick review of something that has more than 4 wheels, as you can probably tell. This is a Class 8 heavy haul truck. Now before we actually get into what kind of truck this is, let's just look over some interesting features that this has at the back compared to regular tractor trailers. So as you can see, you've got an extra pusher axle, you've got an extended wheelbase, and you also got this very heavy duty headache rack. So this is used for more things like oversized loads, heavier loads, and it has the power and the features to support that. So let's get into which truck this actually is. So I'll walk to the front. It's going to be quite loud, just a warning. So here it is. This is a Kenworth T880. Now this is spec'd pretty impressively. You've got an X15 Cummins engine. Now let's see if we can see from here. Right there, usually when you see red, you can tell that it's a Cummins engine. So we've got that X15, and we've also, one of the most interesting things about this truck is the transmission. It's an 18-speed manual Eaton Fuller transmission. So before we check out the interior and the transmission, let's just check out the exterior. You've got these massive air coolers. You've got this basically a lot of ground clearance. You've got this base plate right here where you can put on your oversized load stickers. And overall, I mean, there's not much to see. Let's check it out inside. So before we get into this truck, that's the entryway. As you can see, the back is extended a little, and that is the sleeper. Look at those exhaust stacks. That is huge. Stainless steel everywhere. Alright, let's climb inside. Alright, so here's the interior. So we've got all our analog gauges for air pressure, oil pressure, battery. Let me just show you the gauges since we're doing a different video anyways. So we've got the battery amperage, we've got the oil pressure, we've got the battery voltage, water temperature. Over here is your controls for your sleeper and overall lighting. Engine fan, this is a stair switch. Now these trucks are like a Porsche where you can start it from the left side. So this is the key and this is how you start it. You've got your bed lighting right here. And then this might seem familiar for those of you who are used to cars. You got your door handle with your locks and your window and mirror switches. But let's get back to the other interesting things that make this thing a truck, a heavy haul truck. Look at your RPM gauge. Now as you can see, it only goes to 30. That means this RPM gauge only really goes to 3,000 RPM. Now trucks are pretty much near redline when they're between 1,500 to 2,000 RPM. So it's very hard to go beyond that unless you are really stressing the engine. So that's something interesting about Class 8 heavy duty trucks. Now coming out of there, you can see you've got a galore of gauges. It's like pretty much like an airplane cockpit. So let's just see what we have here. So you've got your brake air pressure. Is that pressure? Yes, that's right. You got your secondary brake air pressure. So these are very important. You always got to make sure that they're be around 120 psi, between 110 to 40 psi. You got your fuel. Now this one uses diesel fuel only. You also need your DEF fluid, which is right here. That's the DEF fluid for basically emissions, to make sure that any emissions or exhaust out is cleaned through this DEF filter, and that requires its own fluid. You got your brake application pressure. So this is when you actually press the brake. So there, I just pressed the brake and you can see it go up right away. Oil temperature, your drive axle temperature, your rear drive axle temperature, front and rear. This is your pusher axle pressure. So I'll show you that pusher axle in a bit. Fuel filter. Sorry, I should be pointing. Fuel filter. I'm not sure what this one is exactly. Turbo boost. This thing's got heavy boost. Let me just give it some gas. Whoops. Didn't do anything. Alright, transmission temperature, and then you got your air filter intake. Here are your lighting controls for your headlights, parking lights, just for overall running lights. This is, I believe, trailer lights, I think. Don't quote me on that. Here's your regular GPS unit. Before we get to all these switches, let's just come down here. This is your This is your menu control for your screen right here. I can just turn it. It's not doing anything right now. Oh, I was actually turning the fan. There you go. So you can see all your trip information and all that stuff. Here's your regular AC controls, and this is your parking and trailer brakes. Now let's start here. I'm not sure what that is. This is your PTO activation. This is your rear, third, that pusher axle that I was showing you that was raised. So basically, if I press that, this PSI should raise. So let's see. Oh, maybe not. It's probably a different one. Anyways, don't want to mess with that. This is your lighting for when you have a heavier load. Those siren lightings that I just showed you. This is to adjust your fifth wheel. Hazard lights. I don't remember what this is. Is that engine brake? I forget. Sorry. Cruise control. You have cruise control here, which is interesting because I don't have any steering wheel controls. What is this? This is some other kingpin control, and this is your differential locks. As you can see, you can lock a lot of these differentials. How's the steering wheel? Well, the steering wheel is huge. I mean, it is big. It is very big. You got your turn signals, wiper controls, and then engine brake right here. Engine brake is basically you use the gases from the combustion chamber, and it kind of goes back into, the exhaust gases goes back towards the combustion chamber, and basically it gives drag to the piston's momentum. That's a very bad explanation. I gotta remember the wording properly. But basically, you're adding resistance to the momentum of the pistons without having to touch your brakes, because the brakes are very touchy on these heavy duty trucks and they can overheat very easily. Up here, this might seem familiar. This is what you call a CB radio to communicate with other truckers. So this seems like a pretty good Cobra system. You got this nice like leather all above here. Pretty cool. You've got a nice armrest. I got another armrest on my seat. Now let me get out of here. Oh, main thing right here. This is the 18-speed transmission. So basically how it works is, I mean, you can only probably see the high number of 8. But what it works is you operate this transmission using these switches. So here's your clutch. This is for your steering wheel, just adjustment. So you got your clutch, you got your brake, and then you got your gas all the way to the right. Right? So the clutch is different on a truck. You don't always press it all the way. You only press it like 2 inches or something to activate the gears, to allow it to go into gear. And usually you have to balance the clutch position as well as make sure that the engine RPM is at 1500, and that's the only way the truck will fall into gear. So it's very finicky, but you get used to it. But if you learn how to just shift without the clutch, you can learn how to just observe the RPM and just pop it into gear without even having to touch the clutch, except at startup. So basically how this works is, so switch down and this switch back means it's in the lowest position. So what we do is this is reverse. So you have high and low reverse. So right now it's in low reverse. If I flip this switch up, then it'll go into high reverse, right? So we'll leave it in low. So basically, let's look at here. So you got your low gear right here. So low, so that counts as 1. Then basically you can put into high, which counts as 2. So you got your 1 and 2 right there. Now, let's look from here. So you got 1 and 2 right here. So 1 is down and 2 is up, right? Now we put it back into down and go into 3. So 3 is down, but then you use this, which splits your gear. So basically this is like an automatic half gear, which without using the clutch you can put it into like the next gear, but it just gives you like half a gear more, so like 300 RPM. So basically you got 1, 2, low, high, then you got 3, and then you split this gear, and then you got 4, right? And then you want to go back, you pull it back, and you make sure this is down, and then you pull it all the way to you, which is 5, and then you split it, 6. Then you go here and you pull that splitter back, 7, split it, 8. Then you pull the splitter back, then you do your RPMs, 9, then you split it, 10. All right, and then you pull this back, and then you lift this switch up, and then you go back in that H pattern, but you start from the middle top. So 11, and then you split it 12. Well, this is up the whole time. 13, you split it 14. 15, you split it 16. And then you bring it all the way here, 17, you split it 18. So that's 18 gears. So you control the 18 gears with all of this. That was probably a very bad explanation. I mean, this is my first time driving 18 speed, so I'm trying to learn too. But that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, it's not like you have 18 gates. You have your low and high, which you can't split, but you operate with this splitter right here for low and high, but there's two separate splitters. So this one only works for the black splitter. You can probably tell by the color too. But when you're going on the other ones, you can basically use all these splitters to kind of adjust. So think of this down is you get your first gate pattern, and then in each gear you can pretty much go up by adding an extra gear to that gear that you're in. This adds an extra gear to the one you're in. Then when you're done this gate pattern and you're picking up more speed, then you flip this up, and then you get another reload the gate pattern. So you reload the numbers, and then you continue shifting, and then this gives you half a gear. Now you don't have to use this all the time. Now what I do is I go low and I start up here where it says 5 or 1. So I start up here, I use that as like my 1, and then I go 2, I don't even split it, and then I go to 3, and then I go to 4, and then I pull this up, and then I go back to 5, 6, 7, 8. And then basically that actually means 17, but I'm not going to get into that. But then once I'm in 8, technically 17 with this being up, then I just push this, and then I get into 18. So realistically, you're only playing with about 9 gears rather than all 18, but this helps for these heavy duty drivers. I guess enough of that. Now let's get over here. Oh man. Oh, here's my driver's seat. Hard to tell. You've got all your air controls here. So this whole seat is operated by air. So basically, the seat is very comfortable. It has its own suspension. Now, this is what the cockpit looks like. Pretty cool. I mean, you got your heavy duty mirrors, you got your air cleaner, and you can hear that thing. That thing is loud and pretty awesome. But back here is something else that's interesting. This is what you call a very short sleeper. So all you have is a bed. You don't even have like a walkway. But you got your bed, you got your window, all that can pop open, storage, speaker system, lighting, more storage, window, and that's about it. I mean, this is a very small sleeper. But it's not bad. It's not bad because the truck is very cool. So the truck's coolness kind of makes up for that. But anyways, that's enough of like the interior and exterior. I'm gonna drive it, and let's see if I can just keep the camera somewhere safe where you can observe. And hey, this is my first time driving a truck with this many gears. I've only driven it about like 40 miles or 30 miles so far, so bear with me. But let's see, hopefully I can find somewhere good to set this up, and let's go for a drive. All right, let's see if this works. This is in it might fall off, but let's try nonetheless. All right, see, this is what I'm talking about the air seat. See, it bounces around, very comfortable. Put on my belt, and my armrest. You can adjust your armrest like that. This is the 18-speed transmission. You can see, right? Yep. All right. Switch down, splitter back. Let's get started. So press the clutch to get into gear, but you don't press it all the way. You only press it like 2 inches. Right, look, I'll press it all the way. Oh, it went in because I had it prepared. But anyways, if you press it all the way, it doesn't work. So technically I'm in gear 3 right now. Right? So I got my clutch in. You always got to keep your vehicle in gear when you're driving a truck. You can't just coast it like a car. It's very dangerous, and you need to be ready in case you need to get away. So always keep it in gear. So first it's in gear. I'm holding the clutch like 2 inches. I'm also holding the brake, and I'm gonna release my parking brakes. Right? That's good. Just let that happen. Check the overpressures. All right, good. and 17. That's how many gears I